What is it? The brains?
A little birdie, or a few little birdies, told me you wanted me to speak on the situation or give you a little rundown of everything that's been going on right now. If you're new here, I'm your host, Bella Lainez, the host of the Booming with Bella podcast. You can check out previous episodes of Booming with Bella anywhere you get your podcast, but there's a link in my Instagram bio at Booming with Bella, also in my Twitter at Bella Lainezxo, and on TikTok at Booming with Bella. So you can follow along and make sure you don't miss anything Booming with Bella. There's plenty more where this came from. So I didn't know if I wanted to do an episode on this just because there's so much to digest, and clearly it's still going on. But I got a couple DMs and a couple people who have reached out for me to kind of like explain the situation and say like, when's the Booming with Bella episode dropping? Or can you tell me more about this? So I figured I would try to get as much out as I can possibly now. Obviously the situation is still unfolding as we speak, so I don't know if more is gonna come out in the next couple days or so, or by the time that I get this episode up, because literally songs have been dropping every single day. But just wanted to give you my 2 cents. I will tell you right now that there may be a bias that creeps out, and that's only because I have been in a Drake hating position ever since her loss, really. Because immediately once he dissed Rihanna and Megan Thee Stallion, I was kind of over it. And you know that if you've been here, at least for the past year in November, I've said that, just kind of how my feelings have been towards that situation for a minute now. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I do think that this is like a crazy moment in the industry, in hip-hop, and I know that we will be talking about this for a long time to come. So let's get comfortable. I'm gonna try to get this out as quickly as possible because not only do I also have like 3 other episodes in the vault that I've been working on to get out to you guys, but this just kind of took precedence. But yeah, so Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. I know you could literally go back years, go all the way back to Control, you could go all the way back to her loss. There's so much, but I will tell you this much: I don't think Kendrick has ever liked Drake. I don't think he's ever liked Drake, and I think Drake wanted Kendrick to like him, maybe still does even, I don't know. But I don't think Kendrick has ever liked Drake, and I don't think Drake has ever been one to really want to get into rap beef in like a Biggie Tupac style, which Biggie and Tupac weren't even really beefing like that. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I will, because that what I just said could actually get misconstrued. So basically, Who Shot Ya, taken out of context. Tupac thought that was a diss track. Tupac released Hit 'Em Up. Biggie was confused, and then everything between the 2 labels conspired, and unfortunately we lost both of them. But I don't think it was like a back and forth like we're seeing, but the world and the media kind of pinned them against each other. But I digress. Back to this whole thing. So if we start and we go all the way back to March 22nd, when Future and Metro Boomin released We Don't Trust You, which ended up being basically a diss album, or clearly directed at maybe mostly Drake, but also like a multitude of other rappers potentially, but everything kind of got overshadowed by Kendrick's verse on Like That, which was clearly directed at Drake. A bunch of the artists on there have since kind of put their allegiance with Metro Boomin, Future, and then a second album came out a few weeks later, We Still Don't Trust You. But so March 22nd, Kendrick is on Like That. That's when everybody's like kind of aware of the fact that, you know, these people aren't fucking with Drake anymore, okay? Everyone on the album kind of doesn't like Drake anymore. J. Cole then, on April 5th, I'm actually using a timeline from this person on TikTok, at Fisco, Fiscooemo. Thank you for your services. April 5th, J. Cole releases the Might Delete Later EP, which features 7-Minute Drill, which is basically his response to Kendrick's Like That, because Kendrick kind of like scraped him a little bit, we'll say. 2 days later, so on April 7th, J. Cole apologizes to Kendrick and deletes 7-Minute Drill. He just kind of said that, like, you know, it didn't sit right with his spirit. He wasn't really feeling it. He's got so much love for Kendrick. You know, he didn't want to just engage in the rap beef just to engage and deleted it. Which people are now making memes or whatever saying that like he's divinely protected by God, his ancestors told him like you don't want to diss Kendrick, like delete that or whatever. All these memes have been on social media, but April 7th, 2 days after releasing it, J. Cole apologizes to Kendrick. April 13th, Drake leaks Push-Ups. April 19th, Drake follows up with TMF, which I don't think was released on streaming or is available on streaming. But then a couple days later, April 30th, Kendrick released Euphoria. Then Friday, May 3rd, Kendrick released 616 in LA. Same day, Drake released Family Matters. Then also drops the Buried Alive parody on Instagram, so also not available anywhere. Then Kendrick drops 15 minutes later, Kendrick drops Meet the Grams. Then May 4th, Kendrick released Not Like Us, and May 5th, Metro Boomin released BBL Drizzy. So everything, like especially from April 30th on to today that I'm recording this, May 5th, has been very back to back. Like, I am not even sure I've fully caught up on everything. So I will tell you, I listened to Like That, Push-Ups, Euphoria, Family Matters, Meet the Grams, and like Not Like Us, and BBL Drizzy. So I can't really speak on TMF and the Buried Alive parody, but I also feel like those are the ones that aren't really being talked about as much. I'm gonna do a whole section kind of on like tweets that I've seen, you know, conspiracy theories that are coming out. First, now talk about my thoughts, my interpretation of everything. So like I said, I've been a little anti-Drake for about a year now. I really didn't like when he dissed Megan Thee Stallion and when he started aligning himself with, I don't even want to say his name, Tory Lanez. Fine. When he started to pledge his allegiance to Tory Lanez, I just thought it was weird because they never really like worked super closely together. So I just thought it was weird that he was like aligning with Tory Lanez over Megan Thee Stallion when also like the beef between the two of them and like the situation that happened, like Drake had nothing to do with. So it was like he didn't need to like go ahead and defend Tory Lanez. Like that was just unnecessary in my opinion. And then when he dissed Rihanna too, I was like, dude, she's fine. She's like married, has 2 kids, like move on. You're the one who's looking bitter because she's clearly happy and doesn't care about whatever situation the two of you had, and you're here talking ill on her name. Like, move on, grow up. Anyways, ever since her loss, I felt like something has changed with Drake, and people can say that his music from like 2016 on is not the same as like old Drake, but I guess it's kind of like obvious when you've been in the industry for that long, like that's gonna happen. But I feel like there was a clear drop off after Certified Lover Boy, and I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what triggered it. I don't know what happened, but Certified Lover Boy and my love for that album, and honestly Nevermind, like was fine too also. Like I really like that album, but I feel like it doesn't fit in between like the 2 Drakes that we saw from Certified Lover Boy to her loss. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Just how like that Drake and then For All the Dogs or whatever, like those Drakes are the same. So I don't know what happened there, but I have felt like Certified Lover Boy was like the last album of his, and a little bit of honestly Nevermind that I really liked. After that, I haven't been able to really listen to his newer stuff. And I love 21 Savage, so that's nothing against 21 Savage, and I think 21 Savage is kind of flying under the radar here, which is good for him. To me, Kendrick Lamar is an intellectual. Maybe that's because he got a Pulitzer Prize. Maybe that's because he's the same guy who released the album Damn, and his work has always just been like so much, like a completely different level than Drake to me. Like Drake to me is like classic hit maker, bops, cool, vibes, whatever. Kendrick Lamar to me is like reading, you gotta use your brain, reading comprehension, talks about, you know, important issues, like intellect, couple bops here and there, but like meaningful. They're on 2 different spectrums for rap and hip hop for me. So I don't know, I feel like beefing with Kendrick is just something I would not do. Then I learned he was a Gemini also. I love Geminis, so maybe that's also it. I'm a Leo, and I've always had a soft spot for Geminis, male or female. I feel like I just get along with them well. I don't know if that's a red flag, but I feel like just Kendrick is just gonna be lyrically better no matter what Drake says. And my allegiance has kind of fallen with Kendrick ever since this started. I will say that. I will put that out there. I have been listening to Not Like Us all day today and BBL Drizzy. So I'm sorry for the Drake fans, the Drake loyalists, if you don't like what I have to say. But this is all my opinion. Like, I feel like I need a big red banner across this entire podcast episode. Like, this is my opinion. All that being said, I also just really do like that and Not Like Us, because I'm one of the people that I'm like, I like to dance to these songs, right? And these are songs that I can dance to. I mean, they're already playing them in the club, so. But I do appreciate like the hardcore and like the thought out lyricism of Euphoria and Meet the Grams, as dark as Meet the Grams is. But all that aside, I also think Push Ups is good. I thought it was good. And then I thought once it got to Family Matters, Drake was showing his hand a little bit. I don't know, like I just didn't like it. I don't know if it's because I think of Kendrick differently than I think of Drake, that like I'm gonna take everything Kendrick says like as more valid and more truthful than what Drake is saying. I don't know. But I just felt like Drake was reaching in Family Matters. Push-Ups, I think he was fine. I think he gave a little momentum there. And then like Family Matters came out and it was like, oh. And then Kendrick immediately followed up with Meet the Grams. And it was like, oh, we're doing this. Okay. I'll go through like some of the tweets talking about everything that's happened. I have a lot of screenshots, so I'm going to try to share as many as I possibly can. They all kind of talk about different parts, mostly with what Kendrick has said. One of the things in Not Like Us was that Kendrick talked about how Drake hooked up with Lil Wayne's girlfriend or a girl that he was seeing while Lil Wayne was in jail, and then got his face tattooed on him like as an apology. People are saying like, oh, so that's why first thing Wayne did when he got out of jail was like punch Drake. I haven't seen that video, but and then an interview came out that Lil Wayne did confirm that Drake slept with his girlfriend while he was in prison. So one claim down. At Thoughtful Bay said, on behalf of Kendrick Lamar fans, I would like to say thank you to Drake. Thank you for always igniting the menace in Kendrick. We waited 5 years for Mr. Morale, and we even thought he retired. He's dropping a verse every day now thanks to you. Keep making him mad. Which is what I'm saying about Beyonce. Like, if we gotta keep dissing these people to keep them in the studio, like, please, go all for it. A lot of people have been coming at Drake for, you know, not addressing the Predator allegations, and just kind of, like, talking about the other stuff that's mentioned. Like, how in Meet the Grams, it's a whole song basically about Drake involving himself with minors and, you know, being a predator, basically. And also being like a deadbeat dad, whatever, all this stuff. But then Kendrick also reveals that Drake has a daughter, an 11-year-old daughter, and Drake's only response was like, whoever can find my daughter, like, I'm gonna come work for you. So people are saying that after Not Like Us, which Kendrick basically doubles down on all this stuff, people are saying Drake gonna skip past all the allegations on IG and say some shit like, I don't even be in Atlanta like that. Because Kendrick was also calling out Drake for kind of appropriating Atlanta culture, like claiming it as his own when it's not. He says that like, you got your flow from Lil Baby, Quavo said you could be from North Side, 2 Chainz said you were right, you know, all this stuff. So there's a couple of people out there who have kind of been on Drake's side, and they put Kendrick on a clock, which I think is personally funny because one, Drake never responded to Pusha T's diss years ago. Also, he took like over a month to respond to Kendrick, so. They said people putting Kendrick on the clock and thought he wasn't fighting back. He responded by dropping 4 songs in 5 days. 3 of the songs dropped within 36 hours. So, oh, going back to the Atlanta thing, people are saying like Drake used Atlanta, glad Kendrick finally said something. And then someone quoted that and said, Gucci was in jail and Drake came to Atlanta and started calling Toronto the 6. Which, putting 2 and 2 together, that's effing crazy in my mind. Like, it never even clicked in my brain, but yeah. And I know Gucci has like done songs and, you know, worked with Drake in the past, but I don't know, I feel like Gucci hasn't said anything. I'll get to Gucci. Gucci hasn't said anything about all this, but he hasn't worked with Drake in a long time, so. Oh, people have been talking about Megan Thee Stallion. They're starting to believe now that Hiss was just directly at Drake. And that's even funnier considering someone else thought it was at them, Nicki Minaj. But you know, if the shoe fits, the shoe fits. People have also been saying that what Kendrick has done in the past week substantially upped his stature in hip-hop history. He was already solidified, but he really may have achieved like a new level. I agree. I think that a lot of people saw Kendrick as like this prolific rapper, or like guy in hip-hop. Like he just talks about like deeper things. All of his lyrics and everything, they're just like so much different than everything else in rap and hip-hop. But I feel like with these, he showed us that he can be both. You know, he can be like the prolific, poetic rapper, but then he could also get down and dirty like these guys, you know? It's also interesting just how many people are like, what are some other good diss tracks? The R&B diss tracks, and how no one really caught on to the Dream verse Lil Wayne way back when, Eminem verse Mariah Carey, Future verse Sierra. So it's just interesting like how many diss tracks are recirculating on social media and how the discourse around diss tracks is like, I don't know, picking up again. This morning when Metro Boomin released BBL Drizzy because Drake told him to shut up and go make some beats, and Metro did do just that. But the best part is like Metro put it out there and was like, whoever got the best verse, whatever, like basically letting anyone hop on the beat and diss Drake. And one tweet said, Metro Boomin getting civilians to diss Drake on a track called BBL Drizzy is insane. Why Drake getting cooked by a 17-year-old he's never met? Like these kids like don't know him, don't know Drake, but they're hopping on a Drake diss beat. Oh, and another thing that people are talking about, like there's so much around all this. So Drake used AI to replicate Tupac's voice and put it in his song, which could have been a mistake just off the bat. Kendrick is from California, and just if Tupac was alive, like he probably would have rode with Kendrick. So kind of a mistake just in the first place. But then to use AI, first of all, when you know rap especially versus AI is a huge topic of discussion right now, but to use AI to use Tupac's voice and to not ask his estate for permission, like, come on. You just like, you're giving him ammunition almost. So someone said it can't be overstated how much that Tupac AI voice was a mistake. That was the reason that like the song had to get pulled from streaming and everything, because there's a lawsuit. Drake is saying that Kendrick is the one who told the Tupac estate to sue him. I don't know if I really believe that. I just feel like it was stupid for him to use his voice and use AI when Kendrick has already gotten approval from Tupac's estate to use an actual interview clip in his last album. Whatever. I don't, like, you're just feeding Kendrick more to diss you, drag you on. Like, I don't know. Not Like Us literally dropped like Saturday night, and DJs were already in the club mixing it. I've seen Jersey Club remix to that and to Meet the Grams, but to Not Like Us with Work, with This Is How We Do It. DJs are getting creative. Whoever said you can't dance to diss tracks is getting flamed right now, because DJs are working it into their sets all day long. What's also crazy is that this beef is affecting everybody's ability to promote anything. A couple people on Twitter have said like multiple releases are being rescheduled. Previously scheduled for next Friday are already being rescheduled. Like all dates are like TBD, no one knows, which I think is like interesting, but it's true, like so much is going on right now. I think even Euphoria is aiming for the #1 spot in the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Like it's crazy. Everyone is consuming this right now. My mom just asked me about it. Like, crazy. Cat Williams opened the door for all of this in 2024. Because he said in his interview that 2024 is the year of truth. Not just including like this beef, but like everything that's happened since this interview dropped has just been wild. People are saying, if I send you this meme, it's a picture of Kendrick Lamar, just like mean mugging. If I send you this, just know I hate you. Kendrick Lamar's hatred towards Drake is inspiring, and that shows them that they haven't been hating hard enough. I feel like that's something my dad would say. People are mixing Not Like Us with Hit 'Em Up. So like I said, all of this has been having people like talk about a whole bunch of like diss tracks and everything again. And also on top of the fact that it is like, I think the 10-year anniversary from when the infamous video of Solange and Jay-Z fighting and the picture of them exiting the elevator happened. So everyone's like fully on negativity and beef right now. But also the clip of DMX where talking about how he doesn't like Drake and he doesn't like anything about him. Also the clip of Soulja Boy saying that Drake stole his whole flow. So a lot of them are like, well, he's aged well. The Megan's Law bar ran so the A minor bar could fly. The Megan's Law bar was in Megan Thee Stallion's Hiss. The A minor bar is in Kendrick's Not Like Us. Someone said Kendrick needs to get all the Drake haters in the booth for one track like We Are the World. That would be hysterical. Oh, so get this. I'm on Twitter, right? I see this like quote come up and the quote is like, I'm sorry to every astrology girl I ever doubted. I'm finna go find out what time I was born right now, get my whole chart, who trying to give me a reading. Because she posted like this thing about Drake. She posted this, Jesus. She posted this August 1st, 2023. And it says, the astrology girl's @ is YUNGKALEZ, okay? She posted this August 1st, 2023. She said, Drake prediction mid-May 2024. If he is resistant to change, maturity, and assuming an authoritative role, this will be extremely challenging. It makes me think of a shocking headline that reveals he's actually an awful absent father or something, thus affecting his career and reputation, because he is romanticized and adored by women. Best case scenario, if he embraces what the transits encourage, his relationships will see profound growth via shedding old toxic patterns, romance habits, views on women's, etc., skyrocketing his success into uncharted territory. Pluto has been squaring his sun for some time, and that is not easy. It's discomfort of the ego, men, authority figures, structure, etc. It is a pressure cooker for personal transformation, walking in truth, authenticity, by unearthing what is brushed under the rug by the ego. Isn't that crazy? Basically, she's like giving him a heads up, like, this is what you gotta do. But she said this last year, before any of this stuff had come out. We'll see. So basically what she's saying, if Drake owns up to everything and like goes about the high road, this could like not even be a blip. Could just be like a pivotal moment for him. But if he goes about the way that he's been going about it, it might ruin him. I don't know. Astrology information is always crazy. Once you like really learn about it, it's interesting to see if what she says is correct, but I just had to share that. Oh, and Kendrick also included a line where he said better not speak on Serena, because it's been lost on how many shots Drake has taken at her for absolutely no reason. If you don't know, Drake and Serena, I think, dated for a little bit way back when, but he's been dissing her for like so long. For, again, what reason? I don't know. Oh. Someone said, this is so funny to me because I know Obama is tapped in. If you've seen the clip where an interviewer asked Obama, President Barack Obama, if he would choose Drake or Kendrick, and he chose Kendrick. And plus, we all know he loves Kendrick Lamar. So I just think it's funny. People are also saying they want to be a fly on the Carter household, seeing what Beyonce and Jay-Z have to say. They know that they're cracking up. And so Meet the Grams, the cover art, which has been since taken off, but only because it goes against a couple, like, what qualifies as being okay as a cover art because it shows his personal information. But it has Drake's Ozempic prescription, a Maybach glove, 2 other things Drake has prescribed, receipts, and like a t-shirt. It's literally like someone just like laid it all out on the table, like everything that could offend Drake, like that this is being exposed, and like has it all out and like just took a picture and sent it to Kendrick. Like that's what it looks like. So it got removed from streaming platforms, but that was the cover art, and that was when people learned that he's on Ozempic. But it also seems like it's been confirmed that he has a BBL, which I feel like I've been saying forever. I thought I was saying it as a joke, so maybe I accidentally manifested that to be true. Megan Thee Stallion also said that. And now Kendrick is confirming that he had work done, liposuction maybe, BBL maybe, but also ab etching. Tell me where you really got your abs from. That is so funny to me. Anyways, also the beat, Not Like Us, such a good beat. People are saying that's like top 5 mustard beats, but people are using that meme of that girl that's like,
get him again.
Get
him for me.
And they're saying like mustard this morning. Megan Thee Stallion threw the first brick at the OVO wall. Oh, someone, like, I haven't been able to unsee this since I saw this tweet by @KWAJOOO. The best way I can describe the difference between Drake's responses and Kendrick's is that they're both in a roast battle with a big crowd around them, and Drake is turning around and looking at the crowd for validation after every roast, and Kendrick is staring directly into his soul. I feel like that's so true. A tweet from Kendrick's from 2012 came up, and he said, "Somebody tell Pusha I feel the same way," which is funny. Another issue that, like, people are talking about on Twitter specifically is just that Euphoria, all of his bars have quadruple meanings and everything's so intellectually written almost. And so people are saying that Euphoria has exposed an all-time low in reading and listening comprehension and critical thinking. Y'all claim you want real lyricism, but maybe you're not truly equipped to digest it. I do think Euphoria has like a lot to digest. But in the same song he said, you know, you're gonna sneak diss, first person shooter, they better come with 3 switches, and then he dropped a diss track, Euphoria, with 3 switches. The beat switches 3 times, so use your brain, he's using his. And in Euphoria, Kendrick also spoke on the Takeoff situation. He's talking to us about like very real things and like very really like calling out the industry and like fake love on social media or whatever. I don't even know how to describe it, but also on the sidelines of all of this, Quavo and Chris Brown are beefing over Sweetie, pretty much, I think. She's in the mix of all of this, which I think she fumbled the bag because she should have dropped that song Nani 2 weeks ago, but it's still not out. There's this whole thing where there's a Quavo concert and like the stadium's completely empty. There's like maybe 3 rows of people. People are saying that Chris Brown bought all the tickets so nobody could go. This was before all the back and forth between Drake and Kendrick happened, but people were saying that like Chris Brown is the one guy that you believe absolutely would swing on the person minute they see them in real life that he's beefing with. So that was just another thing going on. Also, simultaneously, Gucci Mane dropped a Diddy diss track. It's called Take That, or Take That. And it's so funny. It's so funny because the entire chorus, or like the whole song is just like, no Diddy, no Diddy. I love it. I love diss track Gucci. I love diss tracks in hip hop, especially once they're against people that I don't fuck with. And I just think it's funny that like out of everything going on right now, Gucci was like, you know what? Not enough people are dissing Diddy right now, so I'm gonna do it. And like in the music video or in the cover art, he's also like recreating Puff Daddy's scene from like Mo Money, Mo Problems. One of my favorite lines is, why you ain't ever seen WAP at the brunch? Cause they might spike the punch. Man, that shit too risky. No Diddy. Like, oh my God. There's another line that I really think like kind of just solidifies everything more. It's when, the CEO in the video, but no Diddy, cause I ain't dancing like a hoe, no Diddy. And then he also said T. Oh, he said, rule number 1, never be too friendly. These industry blank have bad intentions. I don't trust nobody and I stay my distance. Plus your whole team, sorry. He makes a comment about like, got a model in my bed, but she can't be underage, no Diddy. Something like that. So I just think it's brilliant. Go off, Gucci. Get your little bag. Diss him again. Get him again for me. And there is like claims about Kendrick being abusive. I don't know. I'm not gonna really speak on that because I don't know the situation and I feel like that's his wife's story to tell, which I guess you could say the same about Kendrick speaking on Drake's kids. But that brings me to this tweet that I saw that's like me liking both pro and anti tweets. And the quote is like, when someone's right, they're right. And that's like me. I'm just liking whatever speaks to me in the moment. If I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm gonna like it. Or if it's like, yeah, you know what? That's funny. I'm gonna like it. That's kind of how I roll, I guess. Oh, and like Rick Ross was doing a back and forth with Drake for a while. Like Drake, I think dissed him on IG Live or something. And Rick Ross went straight to the studio, dropped a track, and is now at like Vegas pool parties playing Not Like Us. So Debating Hip Hop said, Drake got that Amazon same day delivery from Rose. That's real hip hop. This tweet also was so funny. DJ Khaled gonna have to get 4 Bats, Central C, and Ice Spice to make songs on his next albums because all his regulars hate each other. Side note, back to the Diddy thing. Residente from Calle 13 apparently beat him up and has talked about it in his music. So just for my reggaeton fans, that one's for you. Okay, so there's this rumor going around on Twitter. I don't know if it's been on TikTok because I've been focused mostly on like the Twitter discussion. But people are saying that Kendrick has alluded to Drake being involved with the passing away of XXX Tentacion, XXX Temptation. It's been years and I still am not sure how to correctly pronounce his name. And then people are also like resurfacing a clip of X thanking Kendrick for helping him get his music on streaming or something. So it's interesting. That was only like briefly coming up on my Twitter thing, so I haven't been able to dive deeper into it, but people are saying that that's kind of there's something there. So that's crazy for sure, but interesting and something I want to definitely read more into, you know, like, because I don't know. Okay, but this was a good tweet that I think kind of sums up my feelings. Someone said, I love Drake. He's been a mainstay in the space for years, undeniable. But if you think he's currently anywhere close to winning this thing, you are completely delusional. Some other people are kind of just saying too now that like, I can't believe how much Kendrick is beating Drake at his own game. Like, Kendrick's completely winning this thing. The beef is starting to like a complete washout. And that's just like with streams, views, trolling, club records, the fact that Kendrick has dropped 3 songs in 36 hours, all of the areas that Drake like usually holds at Wow That's Hip Hop has said are being occupied by Kendrick instead. So in my opinion, it's like a complete washout. And then one person said that has this beef erased almost all relevant political matters from your timeline regarding like everything going on with Gaza and Congo. And at the Carly Hustle said, I hear what you're saying, but also Kendrick versus Drake is a relevant political matter within the most influential genre of music on the planet. At play are conversations about race, privilege, capitalism, colonialism, moral values, fatherhood, code of ethics, and beyond, which I think is a good, valid point. Like, these are topics that are being discussed and things that both of these artists are getting called for. Drake being an absent father, having severe moral issues, being a colonizer almost. Kendrick did call him a colonizer, and only using like the city of Atlanta and black culture when it helps him as a rapper. All that I can't necessarily speak on because I am not black, and I don't want to speak on because I can't relate and I can't offer insight into that. So that part of the conversation and that part of the beef I am staying out of, but I am just here to say that that is a topic of discussion, and that is what Kendrick said about Drake. So moving on from that, I think that like the topics that are being discussed are huge, and my mom actually made a really good point. In Euphoria, Kendrick samples Benny and the Jets by Elton John, and what that song is essentially about, she told me, because I haven't really studied much on Elton John and like all of his music. I love him and I love his stuff, and I listen to Benny and the Jets a lot, but I don't know much about the origins of everything. But she said that basically what Benny and the Jets is about is like the parasocial relationship with celebrities. Even back then, people were talking about this, and people are essentially just like, they have these views of celebrities and, you know, they hold them to these standards, but like they don't actually know what goes on, and that these celebrities are really just like not the best people. So food for thought. More food for thought. QT Cinderella said, in Swiftie terms, so for my Swiftie girls, this is for you guys. This is like if Katy Perry ever replied to Bad Blood, but then Taylor replied with 3 tracks calling her a pedophile. At Poorly Aged Stuff on Twitter reposted the Certified Lover Boy cover art with all of the pregnant women emojis, because I do believe that there's definitely more than just 2 Drake kids out there. There's definitely more, 100%. And another thing, at _Bobby Foster, who I love, by the way. I don't know if he sees me in his likes all the time, but I do really appreciate your takes on a lot of hip hop stuff and just on a lot of stuff in general. So, but he said that he posted a lyric from Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria, and the lyric is, and my sixth sense telling me to off him. And what Bobby Foster said is, Kendrick started this diss off by saying he sees dead people. He keeps foreshadowing his next disses, because that's kind of how he starts off, not like that us. And then another thing that's been kind of going viral is just how many people are hopping on the BBL Drizzy, and the disses are transcending language barriers. Like, everyone is hopping on. So it's absolutely effing crazy, and I don't even think we're ready. We're like, it's done. Like, unless it just keeps like becoming a complete Kendrick wash, if he drops like more songs and just like nails the casket closed. I really don't know. It'll be very interesting to see how this influences the next couple of years in hip hop, in rap. I'm kind of here for it. I definitely think that this has gotten me back into the genre, because as I've talked about on here, I've kind of gone away from it in the past few years or so. There is some reggaeton beef that was going on. I don't know if it's still going on, so I'll do some research into that and I can talk about that too if needed. But it's very interesting to like all of the beef going on in the world. The City Girls were fighting. I don't know if they made up already. I don't know what's next with the Chris Brown Quavo drama, but all I know is that this is insane and just crazy. There's so much happening. A lot of claims being made. I'm interested to see in what you guys have to say. Some of my friends that I've been communicating with are very much happy that Kendrick's winning. I do think that Kendrick is winning, if not just because of lyricism, but also because of just consistency and doubling down. I do want to make a point and say that, you know, Meet the Grams is dark, and it feels dark, and it's kind of hard to listen to. Does Kendrick have a mole in Drake's camp? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe he's just been plotting on this for years and finally found a window and is just going in. Some people think that he has multiple tracks in the vault. Like, he could release a full Drake diss EP or album if he wanted to. So it'd be interesting to see like if he keeps coming out with more. It's just also like Kendrick has some lines in there that like just people have been saying this whole time. What is it? The brains? It's just like so catchy. And Not Like Us, I have been dancing to all day long. So I will say that much. I feel like the obvious answer and the obvious triumph is gonna be Kendrick, but please let me know your thoughts. This is all, again, my opinion. I'm a Kendrick fan. I was a Drake fan. All in all, I will say I do think J. Cole was smart for pulling out, for tapping out. Good one, J. Cole, because now I can stay a fan of you. I was always going to stay a fan of yours, but you know, it'll be interesting to see what the impact of this is, and I do think that this will be something that will be talked about for many, many years and reflected upon in many, many years to come. I'm interested to see in how this all plays out. And if that astrology girl is right, you best believe I will be doing a full deep dive and research on my birth chart and try to figure it all out. If she is right, I will be taking astrology so serious in 2024. Please let me know your thoughts. Please DM me. Let's talk about this, because this has been like all consuming my brain for like the past 36 hours, and I'm loving that I can talk about this with people. So that is all I have for you right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening to me talk about this as much as I possibly could. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. If you're not paying attention or had no idea what was going on until this week, get your ass on Twitter or X or TikTok and just start paying attention, because this is going to be a huge cultural moment that hip-hop and rap fans are going to be talking about forever. With all that being said, I am your host, Bella Linez from Booming with Bella, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Like I said, I had 3 episodes in the vault that I was working on getting out, but this one had to take priority, and just like time is of the essence here. Want to stay tuned for those episodes, and to go back and check previous episodes, you can go at the link in my bio on Instagram at boomingwithbella. That has the link to previous episodes, Apple Music and Spotify playlists and profiles, the blog, the website, my Twitter, TikTok, at Booming with Bella, so much more for you guys. Check all that out. And I will talk to you guys again so very soon. Bye.